And there's a look at Billy Hamilton. Now with 43 stolen bases on the year. Michael Wacha gets the call for the Cardinals tonight. It is start number 23. He won last time out against the Reds. His record stands at an even 500, 7-7. And away we go. First pitch taken by Hamilton for a ball. Jimmy, he's got something you can't teach, and that's great speed.
Yeah, they've been talking a lot about him getting better and maturing and not just using his speed.
And he rips it into right field. Leadoff base hit. Yesterday he went 3 for 4 with 4 stolen bases against Pittsburgh.
I mean, speed can do so much for you, but if you can't get on base, obviously the speed's not there. So that's something he's learned over the last year or so. They said he's spent a lot of time this year in the offseason working on being more patient at the plate, working on his swing. They're talking about it really carried over to defense, and so that's a big thing for them to have a leadoff hitter like that.
Just saw the Reds lineup, and now it's Zach Cozart. Returned to the Reds lineup on Friday. Missed the Cardinals series last week at the Great American Ballpark with a finger issue. He's had a solid year with 15 home runs, and he's driven in 42. I'm curious, as you were coming up through the ranks with the Angels, the art of base stealing, when they talk to you about taking a lead and how you get a jump, your read off a pitcher. What is the key right now for Billy Hamilton?
Well, it's one of the things that I didn't really have to worry about because I didn't have that kind of speed. But it's a lot. I learned a lot about it, even though I didn't run. And I played with a guy, Ricky Henderson, who was the best. These guys just really pay attention to getting the quick jump out of the hole, watching the pitcher's lower half usually to see which way the knees break. And
there he goes. Chance for Molina, and safe. Stolen base number 44 for Hamilton.
And the key right there is he is just out of the hole and gone so quick. Yachty has no chance right there, I'm sure. And you can see he got a little bit of a walking lead. That was a Ricky Henderson move right there. Ricky Henderson used to try to get that foot to kind of lean forward before he started. So if that foot hit the ground and the pitcher didn't pick up his leg to go to the plate, he stopped. If his foot was in motion and the pitcher picked up, he just kept on going. That was something I found very interesting, and hopefully we can see a little bit more of that in this broadcast. But that is a very interesting way to steal bases, and if it works, I mean, with that speed, it's ridiculous.
Leads the National League in steals. Runner at second base is Billy Hamilton. 3 balls, no strikes on Zach Cozart. This is a Reds team that's playing very well. 13-8 since the break. 4th best record in all of baseball since the All-Star game. There's a strike by Wacha. 3-1.
Wacha's beard's getting a little bit more fuller out to the sides these days.
Notice that. It's kind of the trend now with players to have the facial hair, the big beards. 3-1 pitch. Outfield is straight away. Now Hamilton, if you're wondering if he's a threat to steal third base, you bet he is, because he loves doing that. If he gets a chance, many times it's not just one, but it's 2. The same sequence when he gets on base. Did that against the Cardinals last week. 3-1 pitch. 3-2.
You can see right here what I'm talking about. He's kind of getting his lead a little bit, and watch his front foot. It never stops him, and that's what they do. They teach you as a pitcher, when you're at second base, you got to stop the runner. Walking lead. Well, he just basically took a walking lead at first base, and no chance for Yachty to throw him out.
3-2 pitch. Comes back to get him from 3-0, and a strikeout of Zach Cozart, the first of the night for Michael Wacha.
You can see right here he chases a pitch outside, and this is a 4-seam fastball. But the one thing that happens with speed is not only does it cause havoc on the bases, cause havoc for defense, but when you're the number 2 hitter, you know he's got a chance to run, and you're kind of in and out of watching him, watching the pitcher. Is he going to go? Is he not going to go? It's really tough sometimes to be a number 2 hitter against a guy like this who could run at any second.
Now brings in the red hot Joey Votto. You played with Joey, and by the way, since the All-Star break, he's hitting .449. What is it about this guy that makes him one of the prolific hitters and on basemen in all of baseball?
He's got one of those rare abilities to have a short swing with a powerful body. Long, like he's long and lanky and he's got a lot of power, but he doesn't have to swing hard. And he can do like what Matt Carpenter does, and he can wait a long time. He can see what he wants to do with the pitch. Doesn't swing at a lot of bad pitches. So when you have that combination of power and patience, obviously there you're going to get fooled from time to time, but what you're looking for in a guy like this is he doesn't swing at balls outside the zone. Occasionally he's going to get a changeup. You're going to get fooled once in a while, but you can't throw him balls outside or down and in and get him just to swing over the top just because. He's very patient. It's interesting to see him choking up right here a little bit more than I've seen in the past.
It's something that he's done about a month and a half, 2 months into the season. He decided to choke up more. He felt he was missing too many pitches, which surprised him. And so, you know, 20 years ago, you might see a guy do this with 2 strikes. He does it at the onset of his at bat. Good pitch on the inside corner, 1-2.
And he doesn't like the ball inside like most power hitters. And Joey's not just a power hitter. He's a great hitter. Sprays the ball all over the place. It's interesting to see. The one thing that I think about Joey is I think sometimes he tries to make everyone happy instead of himself. I've seen him go from not hitting enough home runs and then trying to hit home runs and then not getting on base enough for the critics. And it's a hard way to play your game, is to worry about what everyone's saying.
Hamilton was running, hit out to right. There is Piscotty, fires back into second base, but not in time. It's a big out for Michael Wacha to get Joey Votto with Billy Hamilton at second base. The Hyundai pitch arsenal. Fastball, changeup that he's throwing a little bit more here in the last month or so. The cutter and the curve. Michael Wacha, the Hyundai pitch arsenal. Here's Adam Duvall. He was part of the Mike Leake deal last year when Cincinnati shipped Leake to San Francisco for their stretch run, and Duvall was on the other side, and he came to Cincinnati, and he's had a bust-out season. 26 home runs. Do you ever find that a guy that is dancing out at second base like Hamilton was just doing was a disruption when you're at the plate, a distraction?
That's exactly what I was talking about. Sometimes a lot of the guys that are the 3 and 4 and 5 hitters, guys that are in the meat of the order, usually get a little distracted and usually get a little fired up when a guy's out there dancing around. And I've seen a few conversations between the 3 and 4 hitter and the leadoff hitter where it's either run or don't run, stop messing around.
Sure.
And it can get pretty heated too, because it's definitely a distraction. And you know, right here with 2 strikes, he has no business jumping around. There's no reason to go to third. Don't see a whole lot of pass balls with Yachty, so you can let the hitter concentrate.
And with 2 outs, a base hit, it's going to score anyway.
And this is where the manager really comes into play. This is a thing when La Russa, and I know Mike Matheny, same thing. And when your guy's up there hitting with 2 outs or a 2-0 count, he'll say, hey, stop messing around, let the guy hit, let him drive in the run.
There goes Hamilton on 3-0, and nobody at the bag at third. So stolen base is second of the night.
And without being disrespectful, he's running right there just to get a stolen base. There's no point in stealing that base. It's strictly, at times, guys are running for stats. He's got a great jump, but it's unnecessary. And if you get thrown out there, I mean, can't explain to you what kind of conversation would be going on in the manager's office after.
Well, Jimmy, that's not being disrespectful. That's just being point blank honest. There's no reason to do that. Now, if we see a pass ball or a wild pitch, then it's a different story. But more times than not, that's not going to happen. And here is Phillips. He's had 5 straight multi-hit games. He's starting to come alive with the bat.
You know, and on the other side too, a lot of managers, like we talk about Joe Madden and known him forever, so I know him so well, is he loves to see that kind of stuff at certain times. He load him up, see what happens, get guys moving, do all this, but then, you know, there's a time for both. And I think with Billy Hamilton right there, he's running because he knows he's got an easy stolen base, and probably running 3-0 because 2 reasons. He knows he's got an easy stolen base, and probably guy at the plate not swinging the bat. So I mean, this goes on both sides. It's really hard to watch it when you're on the defensive side because you see no point. But on the offensive side, you're trying to cause havoc. What if Yachty throws the ball in the left field, which sitting up here we don't see very often.
Nope. 5 for 27, Phillips against Walker. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-1. Look at this lineup. You can understand why the Reds would be a dangerous team here in the second half. And a spoiler, pretty big names in this lineup. Votto, if Hamilton gets hot, you got Phillips. And Duvall, his 4th stolen base of the year, and no throw by Molina. 3 balls, 1 strike. How many times do you see 3 stolen bases in an inning against Yadier Molina?
Well, that just goes to show you that Michael's struggling a little bit with his location, and times it probably slowed down a little bit. More focusing on throwing strikes, and it's a big difference. We talked about that sub 3-second mark between getting the ball to the plate and into second base, and then if it starts to climb up, I'm sorry, 1.3. If you climb to 1.4, 1.5, it's an easy stolen base for anybody that can run.
Now the base is loaded for Scott Schebler. Schebler had the big hit in game 1 of the series last week against the Cardinals. Wound up being a walk-off homer against St. Louis after the Cardinals had come back in that game a couple of times. He's hitting 198. Chance to play every day with the trade of Jay Bruce to the Mets. They're going to see what they have in Schebler. This guy takes a hack. It's sharply to first. Taken by Moss. Reds strand. The base is loaded. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first, and there's no score. It's here on Fox Sports Midwest. Cody Reed finishing up his warm-up tosses. And it's good to see this man back. Missed about a month, and that is Matt Carpenter, and also back in the lineup tonight. Jim will have more on that coming up in the second inning, followed by Piscotty, then Holiday and Moss, Molina, Peralta, Churko, Pham, and Michael Wacha. A pitcher batting 9th for the St. Louis Cardinals. There's a look at the numbers for Cody Reed. Reds have yet to win any of his 8 starts as he's been put in this rotation for Brian Price and Cincinnati. First innings really an issue for him. 4 runs last start against the Cardinals in the first inning. In the 8 starts, he's had 13 first inning runs. The key is get to him early. First and second innings of his works, well, you got to get to him early, and that's our Toyota keys to the game. 18 earned in those innings, all others 15 total.
But that's interesting to see, and that's one of those things we talked about earlier with the guys trying to get their first win, and it just get to the point where you're just trying too hard and you let one inning get away from you, and sometimes you go out there trying to be too careful in the first inning and that gets away from you. So it'll be interesting to see how he makes an adjustment and what he does tonight against the team that he's faced.
0-2 the count here on Carpenter. Shift is on. Carpenter was dealing with that oblique issue that put him on the DL. We saw a swing in his last start, and then he was lifted midway through that game on Saturday. You can see him kind of grimace as he was running down the first base line. Something wasn't quite right, but he says he's okay and ready to go. So last time in this lineup, there's a fly ball to left, and watch him. See a little grimace, something not quite right. Mike Matheny said, all right, let's get him out. Let's make sure he's all right. He chops that foul.
Tell you what, that oblique is something not to be messed with, and it is hard to get through it, get over it. But the one thing that with that injury is it's something that's always on your mind. Once you kind of injure that area, and if it's something new, it's a big part of hitting, and you kind of always have that feeling that in any second they could go again.
Are you susceptible then to a changeup because you might be a little out in front and all of a sudden you're you do one of those?
I think it's anytime you take a little bit bigger swing or maybe you have to reach. But yeah, I mean it's funny. I did it on a check swing one time and it was actually the opposite side for me. So that went by pretty quick. But never really had a big flare up with an oblique. But I did notice taking some big swings every now and then I would feel a little burn, and definitely quick increased time for panic when you start to feel the burn in your rib cage, because I think more than anything you see it on TV so often or read about it now, and if you feel anything there that you've really never felt before, yeah, you definitely you start to get a little worried. Sometimes it goes away and the next day. And
3-2 is hit sharply to Phillips for the out. What does Cody Reed feature, you wonder? A look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal: fastball, slider, and changeup. The Hyundai pitch arsenal on Cody Reed. Here we are in the dog days of this season and the schedule, and Stephen Piscotty is in a rut. 6 for his last 42. That pitch taken high for a ball. On the year at 279, 15 home runs. He has driven in 60 on the season. Turned on that pitch and yanked it foul. At the call up last year on July 21st, finished up the season with the big club after having never played in the month of September, which is a difference for young players. That extra month.
Just the grind of the travel added on to extra couple games here and there, and the demand of the mental part of the game, and just literally I was talking with someone today that travels with the team and for the first time ever had ever done that, and I said, how's it going? And they said, I never realized what a grueling schedule this is. And I said, yeah, and you're not even playing.
Exactly. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Changeup taken low. Month by month for Stephen Piscotty. As we mentioned, he's in a little bit of a rut here. 192 in the 6 games of August after a 277 July. Pulls it fair inside the third base line. Stephen on his way to second base. A throw by Duvall, not in time. One out double, Stephen Piscotty.
Got himself a little cutting changeup right there, and you can see he just stays down. That's he's Stephen Piscotty we're used to seeing right there. Stays down, gets into it, doesn't try to do too much, hits it solid. You can kind of see at the end right here, he was a little excited to maybe get the first hit of the game out of the way and work on the second.
Brings in Holiday. He's been busy today. He was the honorary chair of the Albert Pujols tournament out at Meadowbrook. A lot of Cardinals were there, professional athletes of various sports. Mike Trout of the Angels. It's an off day for the Angels, so they're in Chicago tomorrow night. Many of them flew to St. Louis to be a part of the festivities. The Pujols Family Foundation.
Thought that was pretty impressive today that the guys from Anaheim flew from, I believe, Seattle to Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, and they woke up early this morning and flew here, and Albert flew them, and yeah, I mean, Mike Trout shows up at a golf tournament in St. Louis. That's pretty surprising, but just goes to show you what these guys do for each other.
He is a great kid.
He is a great kid. Nice tournament today. Matt was there. A bunch of guys were there lending their support. You know, the cool thing about these guys is they don't have to go out and play golf. And a lot of the guys didn't play golf, but they're walking around talking. They go hold a hole. There was people. There was a little gallery on a couple of the holes for the neighbors sitting in the yards, and it was pretty interesting. People would run out there and get autographs, and it's a nice event. They do a really good job in the Pujols Foundation, and everything they do is first class. And it's just not golf tournaments. It's, you know, they do suffer Down syndrome, and they have like the kids have proms because they don't go to high schools like the rest of us, and they have a huge thing in the winter, big nice winter formal. So they did a really nice job today, and they continue to do good things for the community.
On the inside corner, Homer Sadeghi is a local dentist, a prominent dentist, and one of the things that they do every year is fly to the Dominican to help work on the teeth of children that have no money, and Homer donates his time to do that. Wonderful man, and that's just one of countless stories with that foundation. Strikeout of Holiday, he knew it, and there's 2 down.
Yeah, and that poor guy has to work on the teeth of my children too, so I feel for him. I'll tell you what, that's not a fun job, trying to get kids settled down in the dentist chair. It's one of my worst days as a parent, taking your kid to get shots in the mouth and getting dental work. It's like The Exorcist, and your kids' eyes roll back.
It's hard.
Oh my gosh, thinking about it kills me.
Here is Brandon Moss. Big numbers against Cincinnati this season, and a swing and a miss after a big swing. 406 his average against the Reds. 5 home runs, 12 driven in. Cardinals lead the National League in home runs with 149 this year. Baltimore leads all of baseball at 168. Round the horn presented by Dobbs. Duvall, Hamilton, Schebler in the outfield. Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto on the infield, and Tucker Barnhart is behind the plate. Here's a 1-1.
It's funny watching this kid throw. I'm seeing a little bit of Baumgartner. That slingshot left-hand sidearm, balls running in, chasing righties, and crazy to think that he hasn't gotten a win yet in the big leagues.
I think you're right too. You feel the pressure of that, kind of like Piscotty feeling the pressure of getting off to a good start in this game, in this series. But hey, they're human. They realize that they've had 8 starts and no wins, still trying to get that first one.
See it right here. A little less of a crossfire, but still the action out of his hand is just, it's everywhere. I would think that maybe his struggles would come from, if I didn't know and don't know, a lot of pitches thrown, a lot of balls getting behind the count.
Taken by Votto, underhands to Cody Reed. Cardinals strand a runner. We head to the second from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Cards and the Reds in game 1. There's no score.
Hey, Dan, as you guys talked about, Matt Carpenter made his return from his oblique issue Friday. On Saturday, Mike Matheny took Carpenter out of the game, saying something just didn't look right. No underlying issue. It just didn't look right. Carpenter had a scheduled day off yesterday. He told me he used the time to rethink things. He told me Matheny was spot on. He told me, quote, I was holding something back. He said with an injury like an oblique, the tendency is when you're released into the wild, so to speak, to protect yourself. That's not good. He told me any player coming back from injury is going to feel something. Quote, you have to trust what you feel as part of the recovery, not a re-injury. Danny says he's got a handle on it, and he's now ready to go.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Suarez a base hit off the breaking ball, and that's exactly what you're talking about, coming back from an oblique.
Yeah, you're just scared. You're really scared to turn it loose. You're scared to feel that feeling again, knowing that the next time that happens, it's more than 2 weeks or a month, or, you know, it's longer than the first time. It always is.
How you been, Jimmy? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, it has been a while. I've been good.
Life's good.
Life is good. We got a nice breeze up here in the booth.
Come back. It's a little cooler here in St. Louis. See Jerko well off the line, and a base hit by Tucker Barnhart, switch hitting catcher. And so it brings in Cody Reed, who does have 2 sacrifices this year. Cardinals defense with Holiday, Pham, and Piscotty in the outfield. Jerko, Peralta, Carpenter, Mossel on the infield. Molina behind the plate. And around the horn presented by Dobbs. First 2 have reached. 3rd hit allowed by Michael Wacha. Both corners are in. Bunted in the air. Walker with the catch. Runners have to stay put. Little things that add up in a game. Wins and losses, and that's one of them, not getting a bunt down.
Well, I just was watching that right there, and the thing you see with young players is just don't take their time and relax. And he looked like he was ready to just run and bunt at the same time, and there's nowhere to go. You're really on a sacrifice bunt. You're giving yourself up. It's been said 1,000 times. You just try to get the ball down. It doesn't matter if you don't run to first. Just get the ball down.
1 out and 2 on. Billy Hamilton looks at a strike. This kind of situation really puts pressure on the defense. In particular, let's say a guy like Jed Jerko. They've already had 3 stolen bases in the first. Suarez, your runner at second base, with 8 steals this year. That changes it, though, with 2 strikes.
And you see that they are willing to run, and yeah, you do want to keep these guys off base, but Michael Walker has to get back into groove and really just work on getting the hitters out.
1 ball and 2 strikes. As a staff, the ground ball percentage of the Cardinals, 51.3%. That's first in Major League Baseball. However, they are 27th in fielding percentage. So they're getting the ground balls, but sometimes not making the plays.
That is a recipe for disaster. That's a really, really good pitch right there.
Missouri Lottery Fox tracks, and it missed, I guess. Not by much.
Not by the Fox tracks.
2-2.
Go for see how tough this game is. Get yourself in a situation where he makes a great pitch, and now look, he's right back to 3-2. Runners could be running, but the fastest guy in the league at the plate.
That's what you want him to do, hit it in the air.
And that's a really good pitch right there he just made.
Carpenter under it to put it away for out number 2. Anytime you can get a ball hit in the air by Hamilton, it's a plus. Puts it on the ground, he can beat just about everything out, it seems like.
About the ability for Michael Walker right there to throw a 3-2 changeup. It's a big, big pitch.
So here is Cozart, struck out swinging first time up. Walker fell behind, 3 balls, no strikes, and came back to get him. Driven out to deep left field. Holiday spun around and over his head and off the wall. 2 runs will score for Cincinnati as Cozart delivers. 2-0 Reds, and Cozart winds up at third.
They made that closer at the plate than I thought they were. From the vantage point up here, I thought, oh, you just go ahead and throw it into third and give them 2 runs. Get yourself out of the inning. See, he misses with the fastball. Down and in. Matt almost catches that ball, but it's a great relay right there by Johnny Peralta. I thought for sure he should have just gone to third until I saw the end result. So great job right there.
2-0 Reds, and now it's Votto. Pitch taken high. Fly to right first time up, which makes him now 9 for 25. Very good numbers. 3 doubles, home run against Michael Wacha as the shift is on for Votto. Here's one of those things that you were talking about, Jimmy. I mean, Votto hears it all the time. You're getting paid a ton of money to drive in runs. However, look at the left side of the infield. He drops down a bunt. It's a base hit.
Could be a double.
And it's probably a run scored as well. 2-1 the count.
I mean, that's as big of a shift as we're going to see.
Yep.
To a left-hander. I mean, there is nobody over there.
With his kind of bat control too, he's so good at just being able to put the ball in play a lot of times where he wants. See, a pitch like that to me is dangerous with Votto. Outside, he can just stick the bat out, take it the other way.
Sometimes when you get locked in like Joey is right now, you almost overthink it too much. You know, you see him taking good pitches, fastball right down the middle. Changeup tough to see Michael Wacha, but he's just kind of hanging out over the plate. Like it doesn't matter what you throw him. He's going to wait and wait and wait.
Also adds to maybe why you wouldn't want to shift. Sprays the ball. But the numbers show if he puts it on the ground, it'll be to the right side.
Well, I'll tell you, that's protect mode right there for Joey Votto. And if the entire team was shifted over to left field, he would have still had that same swing. That's just the kind of hitter he is. But I think that what kind of gets people on his case a little bit, because he is so big and strong. He is such a good hitter. I want to see him let it fly. But this is what's made him successful.
Hard to argue when you're hitting 449 since the break.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. And you know what? The other thing is, nobody knows what he's going through in the box as far as facing Michael Wacha versus facing someone else. And, you know, those numbers probably sometimes they look good on paper. They don't feel so good in your head.
Here's a 2-2 pitch again. Inside. He's an interesting guy. He's very cerebral. Reads a lot.
Definitely an interesting guy.
Yeah. Sometimes he's quiet. Other times he'll talk your ear off. 3-2 pitch. Hit out of play. Good example of that is last week he had a pop-up in which he grabbed the fan's jersey, clearly made a mistake. Then he signs a baseball for that fan, apologizes, takes a picture with him. Then he got his number and had a 45-minute conversation with him the next day. Driven out to right and past Piscotty. Votto off to the races. He's heading to third with a triple. 3-0 Cincinnati.
That's what he does. He battles and battles and battles and then gets a pitch he can handle. But poor Steven Piscotty right there. I think he slipped 3 times. Looked like he lost his footing from the first step and then the third step, and then he just had nowhere to go. He's not even trying to dive for that. He's just trying to protect himself and knock it down, and lost his footing a couple times.
That is well hit down the left field line. It is hooking, and it is a foul ball, and not by much. I mean, that is barely foul.
Well, it's either foul or fair, right?
Ooh. See Duvall taking his time to make sure the Reds have a long look at that.
I don't know what that replay right there was, but
and it looks like they may challenge this, or at least get a clarification. I'm trying to take a look. So they will take a look at this. Not making excuses for Michael Wacha. It would have been a very good catch, but it was a catchable ball for Holiday in left. The play by Piscotty in right.
There's some bad breaks right now going that way. Like I said, the play at home.
Another look at it here.
I don't know if we're getting the right angle on that for some reason.
So bounces there. Looks to be foul.
That's what we're missing.
And then it drops down.
Because I was going to say, there's no way that ball.
No. Yeah, that was hit into the second deck.
Yeah. So we're looking at this replay. When we first saw the replay, I thought we were watching a replay from like 2 days ago or something.
One thing it does show you is that this young man has great power. Adam Duvall. He told me something very interesting when we were in Cincinnati, that when he swings with a purpose of trying to put backspin on the ball to get lift. Now Mark McGwire would talk about doing that. You were a guy that kind of uppercutted, so you get a lot of the balls that would sink. Yeah.
Lob, but Scott Rowland was like that. He worked in the cage on hitting a line drive up the middle with backspin every day. And it's funny because we had a hitting coach here. I think it was actually Hal McRae, who Scott and I were in the cage together at the same time, and he tried to get me to do what Scott was doing, and Scott looked right at him and said, he can't. It's not his swing. And Hal was like, sure he can. And Scott is like, no, he can't. And we proved him right.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
I wouldn't have messed with you. Or Rowland, or Pujols. Walker just throwing now to stay loose.
I'm confused. Like, if I'm watching part of the game and they're watching the same game, that ball landed almost in Big Mac land. So I'm wondering if they're looking at, if they thought it nicked the pole, or if they actually saw what we saw when it bounced on the ground.
Sometimes they have a delay because there isn't a specific umpire, let's say, for every game. One umpire may be on 5 or 6 different games, so then they have to get his attention, bring him over to the monitor in New York, and it takes a little time, but
get his attention.
Regardless,
I like it.
Took a little bit, but it clearly was a foul ball. So Votto stands at third base, 2 outs, and a long strike on Adam Duvall. Fastball misses low.
I think that was our fault because we showed the end of the replay hitting the fair line, the foul line, and they probably saw that upstairs, and they thought the guy upstairs in the locker room probably thought, oh, it was a pop-up that we just didn't catch.
Out in front. This will be Yachty who takes it, and he makes the play. The Reds pick up 3 here at the top of the second. We head to the bottom half. Molina due up when we come back. Here in St. Louis, while the kids are here before school is back in session in a couple of weeks, if not sooner. Yadier Molina will lead it off. That includes a young lady, season ticket holder Jennifer Mallet, a school teacher that was at our season ticket holder event tonight. Happy birthday to Jennifer. It's an event that gives the season ticket holders a little insight into what's happening with the club. John Mozeliak speaks and takes questions, and one of the questions he was asked about a lot, what's going on here at home? And he said they are trying everything. Reporting later. Is there something they can do in terms of cutting back BP on hot days? But it's tough to put their finger on it as to why this team has struggled here at home, but yet played very good baseball on the road. There's a look at John.
Yeah, I mean, the front office and the coaching staff is doing everything they can, and sometimes it's just up to the players. I mean, sometimes it's just one of those years, but you hate to see that. You hate to give in. Still a little bit of time left to make a charge, and 1 game out of the wild card. But it's just one of those things that, you know, something's got to give, and I know that they're doing everything they can. And
well, he's frustrated.
It does get frustrating. It gets frustrating for everyone.
Frustrated in particular with the defense of this club. And as he said, at some point, you know, you can teach the game all you want. It happens in the minor leagues and spring training, a lot of teaching going on. But as you just said, at some point, it's on the players. Got to make plays. You've got to know where to throw to the right base. But you have to make plays. That's what's been frustrating, because you look at this roster, some good veterans on this team, good mix. But for whatever reason, a lot of parts, and yet it just hasn't clicked altogether. Cardinals are hoping that there is a run in this team, as there's over 50 games remaining in the regular season. It looks like the Central Division would be very, very tough to catch up with Chicago. Stranger things have happened. But then you look at the wild card, and that's where you put your hopes at. The Cardinals squarely in the thick of things there. They start one game back of Miami. LA has got their sights set on the Giants. Dodgers just one game back of San Francisco. That's pulled fair off the bat of Johnny Peralta. Off the sidewall, and he will be held to a single. Nice play again by Adam Duvall.
It's a great play by Duvall. He figured that out really quick. Young player running over there and getting right after that double. Well, stopping it from being a double. That's what defense is all about. We just see it right there. This is a double. And he knows this ball is going to hit the wall. And so his job is to go do everything he can to keep the runner from being in second base. And work hard, get to the ball, and throw it into second base.
That's a visiting player also having the understanding of, maybe through BP, looking at the dimensions of the ballpark, having an understanding of the caroms. That's something that every outfielder should be doing before every game, especially when you're in a visiting ballpark. He played that perfectly.
He did. He ran right where he needed to run. See why he's tweaking his arm a little bit. Work hard, get over there and cut it off. And that's one of the things when you're sitting in spring training in the outfield meetings, talk about individual play.
Double play ball and the turn nicely done by Phillips with a little flair. We played 2 from Busch Stadium. Reds on top. It's 3-0. 1-2. Adam Wainwright fell behind after 2 innings yesterday, 6-0, and Michael Wacha here tonight down 3-0 as we head to the 3rd. Brandon Phillips in many ways was public enemy #1 after that big brawl with St. Louis a few years ago. But there's no denying this man can flat out pick it at second base. And he just turned that double play with a little flair. The barehanded catch and throw to first. And for all that went between Phillips and Yachty and the Cardinals, I interviewed Brandon last year and he said this is the best baseball city in America. He said I can understand why these fans would boo me. I get it. He's a good one.
Makes it look really easy at second base.
Man. 2-0 pitch. But you have to have a good villain for a rivalry. And he's a villain.
Usually it's your better player.
Yep.
Joey Votto's too nice to be a villain.
2-1 pitch is hit out of play. Phillips is a great ambassador for the Cincinnati Reds in terms of what he does on social media, interacting with fans. He'll always take a picture. He's giving away tickets. He's signing autographs. The 2-2 pitch. See him smell the bat after that foul ball and smell that burnt wood.
Some guys do that. They like that.
You
can smell it. You can smell it too. I mean, I could smell it, so I didn't need to smell it any closer. But you can smell it sometimes.
2-2, a base hit by Phillips into left, and over to gather it is Holiday. And this will be a leadoff double for Brandon Phillips. So each inning, the 3 for Cincinnati, the leadoff man has been aboard.
I'll tell you what, this is when you know things aren't going your way. I think he hit this ball right off the ground. This is a changeup down. It's about to bounce.
His back knee was basically on the ground too. Look here. Oof. It's a good piece of hitting.
When you're Michael Wacha, you just shake your head. Look at that. Gotti's already down blocking it. That dude just hit it out to left.
Yeah. There's a ground ball that is fair, handled by Moss off the bat of Schebler, who is 0 for 2. It's Beatles night. Come on, Jimmy.
Wow, I like it.
Oh yeah.
You know we're on the air, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm just making sure.
I just realized that. Tuesday, August 23rd, it's Beatles Tribute Night at the ballpark. Purchase a special themed ticket and get an exclusive Beatles at Busch Stadium t-shirt. We're on the air? What?
You thought we went to break for a second.
Trying to wake you up. Cardinals.com/theme. Infield is drawn in, and it's ball one.
There you go.
Paul McCartney's coming to town, and he'll be here Saturday, right here at Busch Stadium. Eugenio Suarez 1 for 1 with a single back in the second. Wonder what Billy Finley thinks about football games and soccer games and concerts on his field. Head groundskeeper here at the ballpark.
Hockey games.
Hockey game is coming.
I'll tell you, I'm fired up about that.
Infield in. Peralta, no play at the plate. Nice job. Off with contact. Brandon Phillips to score the 4th run for Cincinnati.
It's a really nice play by Johnny Peralta right there. First of all, just to go over there and catch that ball. And then making the smart decision and not trying to throw him out at home plate. You can see this play. This ball's hit hard. Taking him just an extra step after he catches it to his left. Another step where that's one step difference between turning and throwing to home and being smart and just going and getting the out.
There's Tucker Barnhart. Singled and scored back in the second inning. 4-0 Reds here in the top of the 3rd. Adam Wainwright has his fantasy football league coming up, and Tucker Barnhart will be the representative of the Cincinnati Reds in the Queen City. He's got David Wright, Clayton Kershaw, all kinds of big names in the game. Cliff Floyd down in Miami, as Adam has started up leagues in many major league cities. The one in St. Louis will be held August 26th here in St. Louis. There's a look at Adam. The 3-1 pitch, and it's taken for a ball. Big announcement is tomorrow. Blues and Cardinals will hold a news conference to announce the plans of the 2017 NHL Winter Classic right here at Busch Stadium. You can actually see that news conference live right here on Fox Sports Midwest Tuesday. That's at 10:30 tomorrow morning. Fox Sports Midwest, and if you're at work, you can stream it on the app Fox Sports Go.
I always find that interesting, even when I'm watching at home, that you just said there's going to be a big announcement tomorrow, and then yet you just told everybody what was going to happen.
Well, I don't know what they're going to say.
You got the inside scoop?
I don't have any scoop.
Well, apparently there's going to be a hockey game.
Usually I do have the scoops.
I'll tell you what, if there's a hockey game out there, you bet I'm going to be here somewhere watching it.
I bet you find your way on the ice somehow.
Probably
not during the game.
Probably not on the ice.
Oh, you will.
Talk about what you said about Billy Finley. He's going to be a little frustrated, but it's in the winter.
Jed Jerko makes the play. RBI for Suarez to make it 4-0 Cincinnati midway through 3. Tommy Pham, Michael Wacha, and Matt Carpenter coming up for the Cardinals. That's how it all starts. Some of the sweets that keeps him going, and then there's a wall that you hit, and then mom and dad have to decide, do we stay or is it time for
just trying to get through 7?
Do we put him down for bed?
A couple days left. Landon's got school starting here this week. Starting early this year. It's a little early for me.
Too early.
I like the California start after the holiday. Kind of, you know, a little bit more summer for the poor youngins.
One of the high school teams back getting ready for their fall sports. Our friend Orlando Pace inducted into Pro Football's Hall of Fame over the weekend. My understanding is that he will be honored, since there's no home football games, the NFL. He'll be honored here at Busch Stadium. There's a base hit for Tommy Pham, hustling out of the batter's box. Takes the hard turn around first base. And it's a leadoff single here in the bottom of the third. It's the third Cardinal hit. It's a double by Piscotty, left stranded back in the first. Peralta is single in the second, erased on a double play. Now a leadoff base hit by Tommy Pham. Here's Michael Wacha hitting .026 this year. 0-2-6. He does have 2 sacrifices this season.
Hopefully looking probably for number 3.
I would think. There is strike 1. Mention that this is really the dog days of summer, the dog days of a major league schedule. A little different though when you're coming to the ballpark and you've got a chance to get into the playoffs. You're playing for something. But the Cardinals, this has been a tough homestand so far. Dropped 2 of 3 over the weekend and now trailing here in game 1 of this series against the Reds. 0-2 the count on Michael Wacha.
I'll tell you what, for the best team in the league, it's still the dog days. You still got to figure it out. You still got to come to the park a little bit earlier. If it takes you a little bit longer to get loose, you got to do the things you got to do to get your body or keep your body moving. I tell you the story about Scott Rowling running in the off days just to keep his legs moving, because you get stiff not playing for 24, 48 hours, whatever it may be. So whatever it takes. And I mean, this is what you do. Can't go out there and embarrass yourself, so you better figure it out. First or worst.
1 ball and 2 strikes. David Eckstein was in the booth yesterday, and his wife was very pleased to receive a Jim Edmonds replica 2006 championship ring. Wacha gets the bunt down perfect. David said that his wife, that you are her favorite player, and I said, David, that's probably not something you want to admit.
He's been telling me that for years. They're the greatest people, and she's so sweet. I think I'm probably the nicest to her. That's probably why she likes me the most. But being around David a lot, I get to spend a lot of time with them, and I don't know. We've always just had a good time as a group, and she was around, so you know. I mean, you're polite to the wives. I don't know. He told me that a lot, though. It is funny. So now I go up and give her a big hug every time I see her.
Good guy. Here's Carpenter. Cardinals trying to get on the board, hitting .324 with runners in scoring position. Lined out to Phillips at second, first time up. They've got the shift on. First pitch taken for a ball.
Tell you what, this young man pitching right now is going to be something to watch in the future.
You like him, huh?
I do. I think he's got what it takes to be successful with the stuff. I think he's a little awkward. He throws the ball across his body. He's got good live arm. He starts to dial it in with being able to hit his spots and do the things that he wants to do. I think that he's going to be just fine. I think I'm looking through some stats, and after his second year, and he was only 21 years old, 22. His ERA has been down in the low 2s, middle 3s, and doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of experience yet. He's only 23 years old, so this is about the time when you start to really figure it out.
There's a broken bat hit to second base with the ground ball to Phillips, and advancing Pham to third. BJC Healthcare difference maker. This is inside the division, and the home record against Cincinnati, 26-10. The Cardinals, for the most part, really have dominated this series. They've done so under Tony La Russa and now Mike Matheny. Last 26 series in St. Louis. This dates back to August of 2006. The Reds have won 2 of them. They are 2-23-1. Think about that. 2006, a span of 10 years, they've won 2 series here in St. Louis. This isn't a team from the West. This is inside your division.
Yeah, Cincinnati Reds have just run into some really good Cardinal teams over the years, and not been super successful, but I'll tell you what, this, talking about Cody Reed again, just looking at some of the stuff I'm looking at, he was basically in single A last year with the Kansas City Royals. Talking about moving through a system and now 2 systems and trying to get comfortable. It's a tough thing to do. And then you're in the big leagues. And I said being 23 is about the time when you start to figure it out a little bit, but then you have to figure out what it's like at the big league level and how you're going to get guys out.
Well, it could be a trade for the Reds that does pay big dividends down the road. It was the Johnny Cueto deal. They got this young man, Brandon Finnegan, and John Lamb. We'll see Finnegan make a start in this series. Cueto pitching tonight against Jose Fernandez. Signed a big free agency deal with the San Francisco Giants. And the Giants have had a terrible start to their second half. Runner at third is Tommy Pham. 1 ball 2 strikes on Piscotty. Ground ball hit slowly left side. Suarez cuts it off and makes the play. Cardinals strand a runner, their second of the night. And we head to inning number 4. 4-0. Reds on top. Shenekes celebrating here at the ballpark. There's a look at Stephen Piscotty with more on number 55. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, Cardinal fans have been waiting for this team to go on a run. Every time it looks like the Cards are about to go on a run, the momentum suddenly stops. Piscotty told me it's frustrating. He said,
can you do an impersonation?
When there's time left.
I promise you we're going to hear from Jim Hayes. I promise we wouldn't shut him out like that. Why would we ever do that to Jim Hayes?
Someone has snatched him.
No, no, no. Jimmy, are you with us?
Dan,
Jimmy's not with us. We'll check in momentarily. 3-0 now on Billy Hamilton. Well, what do you say to that? It's got, you know, that kind of night. Cardinals trailing 4-0. We can't hear from Jim.
That's probably the most disappointing part.
No doubt. 3-1 the count on Hamilton.
The cat has got his tongue. Is that a bad one?
Check.
And a walk to Hamilton. I did just hear a check from Jim. Jim, what do you have on Stephen Piscotty?
Well, Danny, and hopefully after this report is done, you're going to say better never than late. Cardinal fans obviously been waiting for this team to go on a run. Every time it looks like the Cards are about to go on some extended run, the momentum suddenly stops. Piscotty told me it's frustrating, but he said when there's time left, there's nothing you can do but keep fighting. Nothing you can do about the past, but we still have time to make something happen. He told me no one in the clubhouse is happy with the way things have gone lately, but they remain confident it will change. Dan, he told me he, quote, absolutely believes a run is coming. And Dan, I'm hoping he's right.
Well, you're right, Jimmy. You just made my night. I get to hear that second report. I agree with you. Talking to the players, they're still upbeat. Still plenty of time, but clearly, Jimmy, this is a rut that they are in. 2 of 3 they dropped against Cincinnati. 2 of 3 over the weekend against Atlanta. And now trailing 4-0 here tonight. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Zach Cozart. Instead of check on the runner Hamilton. 2 stolen bases this evening. And he's now up to 45.
What do they call that in the sound check world? Is that reverberation? Is that the word they use?
No, it's just a mic check.
Well, thought maybe we were hearing an echo.
No, sir.
Or Jimmy was on a loop. Still saying check.
Here's a double play ball. 6-4-3 on the double play.
That's how you get him off the bases. Nice little easy turn. Tell you what, a year ago or 2 years ago, however long it's been now, Billy Hamilton could have been all over the second baseman.
And a fly ball into right off the bat of Votto. Scoreless frame put up by Michael Wacha. 4-0 Cincinnati. Reds have a lead of 4-0 as we play here in St. Louis.
Tell you what, back in the day, I mean, he's not even running hard here, but that's a second baseman's worst nightmare. Second baseman has his back to the runner, and a guy like that can fly. He's not even running half speed there. He just wants him to see him a little bit. Carpenter's got the comfort of knowing that all he can do is slide into the base. Just turns the double play nice and easy. Some kind of rule change right there, my friend.
Different story. Here is Holiday, who is struck out here tonight, followed by Moss and then Yadier Molina. And a fly ball lifted into right field. Scott Schebler makes the catch, and there's one away. The 2016 St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame induction class has been selected. You can join the Cardinals and Edward Jones in congratulating Sam Brayton, Terry Moore, Joe Torre, Chris Carpenter. It's the 2016 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Saturday, August 27th at Fox Sports Midwest Live. That's open to the public at Ballpark Village. Learn more at cardinals.com/HOF. Mentioned this yesterday. I'm really curious, as you see a shift now being put on for Moss with a strike, as to the speech of Chris Carpenter, what that's going to be like that night. I should say that day.
Should be pretty good.
I agree.
Pretty interesting here that you put your third baseman into right field for this. I don't know if I've ever seen the third baseman make his way that far out there.
Sometimes teams with one strike will do that. Then with two strikes, reverse the second baseman and third baseman.
You know, going back to that slide rule and the slide play, like, of course, protection of the players is most important, and there's no way I'd want to see my second baseman hurt. Just think it's crazy how much the rules have changed over the years and how it's taken something away a little bit from the aggressiveness of the game. I kind of thought that I was laughing to myself about never wanting to see a guy get hurt, but can you imagine running around the end to go tackle the quarterback and not being able to touch him because they don't want to hurt the quarterback?
Right.
Kind of changes the game a little bit, doesn't it?
I understand it because the investment that's in the players. I mean, these guys are assets to the organization. Clearly, a lot of money is spent on the players. You're trying to protect them. There's a ground ball that's hit to Phillips. I'm not a big fan of the rule, though. I do like to see the takeout play. I do think that if you had the neighborhood play within reason, that protects your players a little bit.
You know they're sliding in hard, you're going to jump. Like I said, injuries all aside, I mean, there was an art to running hard down to second base with a man on first and third, one out, to try and break up a double play to get a run. Games were won and lost on that all the time.
Sure. Your former hitting coach Hal McRae used to do it with reckless abandon when he played. Scott Rowland, another one that stands out, that it seemed like he never took a play off, because I don't think he did, but breaking up a double play, he was outstanding.
When you take pride in hustling, and you're not trying to really do anything other than get underneath him and get into him a little bit to see if you cannot disrupt the throw. You've never been taught to slide at his feet or his knees, or you're supposed to keep your feet down, cleats down, put your arms up, slide in hard.
Make it actually difficult to turn the double play.
The 17 years that I played this game, I slid hard, wide, left, right, grabbed guys by the ankles, and I never once had anyone complain.
3-1 pitch taken high by Molina. So that is the first walk the Cardinals have received tonight. A 2-out walk, and it brings in Johnny Peralta. One thing that we've seen is that the starters have not been going deep into games. And we mentioned the Atlanta series, certainly in the Cincinnati series as well, but there's also been an offensive downturn with the loss of Aledmys Diaz. I don't think we realized just how important he is to this offense getting things going as Johnny cranks one out to left, and it's off the wall. Molina hustling to third, and he is saved. Somehow avoids the tag. I think Suarez said to his pitcher, I got him. They're going to take a look at this, and he's out. We shall see. May have gotten him up by the letters.
I'll tell you what, they show that angle. That's the NFL. What do they say in the NFL? Conclusive evidence. There's nothing there. That's tough to see. That's another lost art of this game, is the sliding around the bases, sliding around tags, the old hook slide. Gotti made an attempt at it right here. Tell you what, I haven't seen a replay yet that's really given a good tag.
The first replay, by the way, was umpire review. This is technically a challenge for Brian Price and the Reds, and this could be a big call in this game.
We just saw a review, not this one, but they just showed one on the big screen that looked like he completely missed him.
You can understand why the umpire too would call him safe. From his vantage point, looking at it live, he's blocked to see whether or not he was tagged.
Angel was right there, though, to be honest with you.
He's there, but he's blocked a little bit.
He's standing right there, but yeah, you're right. He could be. I don't know. He had. I mean, look at it. I think he's got a pretty. You know what's funny is we always talk about, and they're usually right. More times than not, they do such a great job, and we really critique the job the umpire does because most people are just worried about balls and strikes, and that's the toughest part of the game. But these guys do a great job, and Angel was right there in position, and Yachty probably cut him off a little bit, but it'd be interesting to see what they come up with. Going to call him safe, I think.
So that call, a big one, goes the Cardinals' way, and now a chance for Jed Jerko to get the St. Louis Cardinals on the board. It's a double for Johnny Peralta. So the call stands after the challenge by Cincinnati. And it brings in Jed Jerko, grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. That ground ball ended the second. Outfield is straight away. Runners at second and third. Hitting .255 with runners in scoring position, getting more and more playing time with Diaz out. Peralta shifts over to shortstop. And right now, Jed is your everyday third baseman. The 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2.
This is right here where you see that funky arm angle, little cutter right there. The end up result is a ball right down the middle, but sometimes when you're hitting, that's not what you see.
Check swing and a strikeout. It was called by the home plate umpire, so once he makes that call, you do not go to first base. So strikeout of Jerko. The Cardinals strand 2. They have left 4 on. We head to inning number 5 with the Reds on top. It's just a 1 game ahead of LA in the West, and certainly for the Cardinals in the wild card race. Here's Adam Duvall in the first pitch, taken low and outside. Cardinals trail 4-0. Duvall barely missed. 2-run homer back in the 2nd inning. Walked, stole a base. That was in the first. Changeup is pulled foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Shea Duvall to pull. Leads their club in home runs 26 and RBIs with 72. A fastball up in the zone. Swung through it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. After this series for the Reds, it's an off day for them. Then they head to Milwaukee. That pitch is popped up and just below us. Cardinals head to Chicago. Be the first of 4 with the Cubs coming up on Thursday. Off day, then 2 with Houston. Another off day, and then we head to our lone visit to Philly. Here's a 1-2 pitch by Michael Wacha. On the inside corner and struck him out. The 2nd strikeout for Michael. Greater coverage of Major League Baseball is presented by T-Mobile. Manny Machado, 2nd player in the history of the game. Home run in each of his first 3 innings. Ichiro Suzuki, career hit number 3,000. It was a triple against the Rockies. And big news on the injury front there. Kershaw, Clayton Kershaw, baseball related activities. He's not available to come off the disabled list until August 27th. What an incredible career and ride it's been, though, for Ichiro with hit number 3,000 yesterday.
That's amazing. It seemed like he did it so easy, too. It's just like he was just cruising the whole time. Throwing down some bunts.
High fly
hits.
Ball into left. Holiday under it, makes the catch. So how does he do it?
Looks like he does it so easy. Yeah. Look at this. I mean, like it's like a semi golf swing, playing table tennis. Got a cannon for an arm. Does it all.
Thing is, to me, Jimmy, too, it's not just a guy that's hanging on to get to 3,000. He is a valuable piece to that Marlins team. 4th outfielder to play all 3 outfield positions and play them well. And he's hitting above 300. He's done a great job this year.
And I'm sure he could be a starter for a lot of teams. And if it wasn't for maybe his legs, for everyone. Just sometimes when you get a little bit older, it's easier just to go out there every 4 days a week instead of 6 or 7. But I mean, he put on a clinic here that one day.
3 hits in that Sunday afternoon.
Still running the bases. He said playing defense, played center field.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. And he got him. So 2 strikeouts for Michael Wacha here in inning number 5. Coming up for St. Louis, trailing 4-0. It'll be Pham, Wacha, and the top of the lineup. Cardinals have stranded 4 in this game. 8-9-1 for St. Louis. Tommy Pham with a base hit to left his first time up, and he's 1 for 1.
You can see what I'm talking about when you watch this young man pitch. Cross-firing a fastball as it looks, and you can even see the catcher's glove. He just kind of has to make a last minute adjustment because it's either cutting, sinking, tailing. This gives you a kind of a little bit of a glimpse to like what Jaime Garcia has with his movement, where he might be trying to throw a cutter and it might actually tail at the end and cut across and sink. Trying to throw a fastball and it runs. Trying to throw a fastball and it'll cut or sink. I mean, it's really hard to hit.
He's getting in on the righties too with that crossfire.
You know, it's funny that we're talking about this here, and yet he doesn't have a win this season, but.
Ground ball that's hit to short, taken there by Cozart for the first out.
He also does make a lot of mistakes with the fastball down the middle, a few times too many, but you know, if it's one of those nights and things are working and you've made other pitches, then the fastball down the middle kind of gets taken or fouled off. And in the past, if he hasn't made a fastball pitch inside at a certain point in the game, then no one's looking for it and they feast on the fastball out over the plate. So he's done a really good job maybe making an adjustment, trying to get the ball inside a little bit more tonight.
Michael Wacha is done for the night as Greg Garcia will pinch hit. Michael, 86 pitches in his 5 innings of work. The Cardinals with 4 hitters on their bench from the left side, only 1 from the right side. That's Alberto Rosario, your backup catcher. So you're left with a lefty-lefty matchup. Matt Bowman getting loose. Cardinals with 12 pinch hit home runs this year by 7 different players. One of those is Greg Garcia. Most recently, Colton Wong over the weekend. And again, it's a story that's playing out here recently for the Cardinals, but their starters just not going deep. 1-2 the count.
Unfortunate there too, because I thought Michael Wacha's obviously best inning was last inning. So it looked like he kind of found a little bit of something there.
1-2 pitch, taken high. Very tough to win when your starters only give you 5 innings. And then because of that, the effect that it has on the bullpen, not just tonight but tomorrow and in this series. So I mentioned the next off day for the Cardinals is not until a week from tonight. Two balls and 2 strikes on Greg Garcia. Inside, 3-2. Greg gives you that very good competitive at bat. Don't see him fooled very often. Puts the ball in play. Taps it foul.
Greg stays on the plate. Doesn't swing a lot of bad pitches. He can pull the ball in the inner half. He can flip at the ball in the outer half. He stays on the breaking ball. So yeah, he does give you a good at bat. Not trying to do too much. Knows what he's trying to accomplish at the plate when he gets behind in the count.
Could provide a birthday present to himself. It is Greg Garcia's 27th birthday today. Fly ball lifted into left. Adam Duvall near the line, and he dropped it. He was in fair territory. Garcia hustling to third, but I do believe he'll be at second. That'll be a dead ball and a double for Garcia.
Maybe not necessarily a double, but he'll be standing on second base. Duvall looks like he just did not want to get close to that wall the whole way. He's been doing such a great job getting over there and making the play when it's been on the ground, and that time when the ball's in the air, it looked like you can see he didn't know where he was. Time that ball gets up in the air and starts slicing, and you don't realize how far you're running, and you're usually not running as far as you think, and that wall starts to creep in on you a little bit, and you start to take your eyes off the baseball, and that's when disaster strikes.
Carpenter is lined out and grounded out, both times to second. Shift on here for Matt Carpenter. One out runner at second base.
I think the toughest thing about being a corner outfielder is knowing that if you go into that corner that you're all by yourself. Really, guys get stuck there. They get nervous. They don't want to leave that post in the corner. And yet then when you go down there, you know if you don't make that play, you're all by yourself and you got to turn around and go get it by yourself. In the gap, you have the center fielder to help you out.
2-0. That was a rule that is given now Duvall an error, and that's his 4th of the season. Barnhart out to visit with his starter. That's one he'll tell you I should have had.
For sure.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. Two and two. Runner at second base, Garcia. The 2-2 pitch to Carpenter. Piscotty on deck. 3-2 the count. And the next to the Cardinals second baseman. Carpenter lifts a fly ball, backing up Duvall, and he makes the catch. Garcia stays put at second base, and there's 2 down. Steven with a double here tonight inside the third base line back in the first is also grounded out to third. Last 11 games, as we talked about, this has been a struggle. Just 175 the average. Two outs. Runner at second base. Here the Cardinals stating the obvious, but the way things are going, you just want to get one run, get on the board, get something going.
I was just thinking that the Carpenter at bat would have been a big at bat right there to battle through it and get Piscotty up there with 2 guys on. Just don't really see that when they're losing game. It's just not the mixture of I'm not saying good at bats, but just continuous at bats over the course of a couple innings where they're stringing things together and getting people moving. And that's, I mean, it's pretty obvious when you state that. It's silly to say, but that sticks out a little bit. But that's the reason why you're losing.
Well, this team more so than most because they are station to station. You know, this is a team that doesn't have team speed, so you've got to be able to string something together. Just saw that graphic. The Cardinals 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight. At one point yesterday against Atlanta, they were 0 for 9.
And that's something they had done so well in the past couple years, especially with 2 strikes and guys on base. And I don't know, sometimes I think it's a game of spurts, and a couple years in a row they've been really good with guys on base and been really good at winning at home, and then something's got to give, and you just don't want it to be the year that you're in charge.
Down the left field line, it's hooking, and it is a foul ball. Home run distance, but foul, and a nice play made by a fan. He made the catch, and then he gave it to the Adam Wainwright fan, and that guy is pumped. Look at him. Look at that smile he's got. Yeah, thumbs up there. That kid is fired up.
Sitting way out there, probably never thought he would get a ball. Nice grab. Oh, that was this. I think it might have been his dad. Heck of a catch. We had a guy right here in front of us wearing royal blue Cubby colors. It literally had one hit him right in the lap, and he dropped it over the side. That's why I lost my concentration a couple innings ago, because I was laughing so hard. It's not as easy as it looks, as they say.
Jimmy, you're going to see some things up here that you didn't notice down there. It's where all the fun happens. The 0-2 in the dirt and blocked by Barnhart.
Back to what I was saying about things coming to a head and not being as easy as a team, and what I meant by you don't want it to be when it's on your watch or when you're in charge. And I'm not talking about the manager. I'm talking about when you're the player, like one of the guys that's in charge, or one of the guys that's the leaders out there, that you got to take that personal, and you don't want that to go on during your watch. And that's, like I said, that's up, you know, it's up to the players to try to turn it around.
Strikeout of Piscotty. Third of the night for Cody Reed, and a happy fan and a happy young fan right there. Look at that. I got a souvenir. 4-0 Cincinnati. Our Chevy call to the pen takes us to right-hander Matt Bowman. Matt has had a really good year out of the bullpen, his first season in the big leagues. And Bowman making his 39th appearance, so gets 7, 8, and 9 in this lineup. Suarez, Barnhart, and Reed. First pitch is hit out of play. Was an interesting move by Mike Matheny to lift Michael Wacha, who put together his best inning in the 5th and looked at his best of the night. But he needs offense. Mike knows he's got to take every shot right now to try to get something going offensively.
Definitely, I would think that there was a predetermination that he had made. He determined he was going to give him that spot, get him through 5. You know, sometimes this time of the year, like you said, the dog days, maybe keep the pitch count down a little bit. You know, like I always say, you never know until you're down there what's going on.
Ground ball that's hit to third. And a look at what Bowman features: the fastball, slider, good changeup with all the arms and legs coming at a hitter. Fastball will run in on the righties. He can get it into the low to mid 90s. It was just over 2 weeks ago that Mike Myers came up from the minor leagues, started for the Cardinals against the Dodgers on Sunday Night Baseball. The ERA for the rotation since then is over 7. As a matter of fact, they have had 2 quality starts in their last 14 games. Oh, 1 pitch, broken bat, soft liner, taken there by Jed Jerko. That's getting in your kitchen.
Wow. Sometimes I have to hold it back for a minute to let the play develop, but that was, ouch. You know, I'm really glad that Bowman's been pitching well, because I felt like I was in his corner. As you see, this is a 4-seam fastball that just gets inside. Not a good feeling when you're a hitter.
So 2 outs and nobody on.
I was a big Bowman fan in spring training. Thought he had good stuff. I watched the first couple pitching sessions. Don't think I had any influence at all, but I was hoping that he would do well, because I spoke highly of him, and it's nice to see he got off to a slow start a little bit. He's been pitching better and better, and getting himself into bigger and bigger games.
By the way, Luke Weaver is making his first start at AAA. Highly thought of prospect, was just brought up to AAA, and tonight still pitching 6 innings, only 2 hits allowed, and he has struck out 4. He has had a really good year. And we talked so much about Alex Reyes. Well, Luke Weaver is another one that we will see before too long, and maybe even before this year is through. All depends on whether or not the Cardinals are probably in contention. If not, then add him to the 40-man, and that could be a dicey situation. Good work by Bowman. A scoreless sixth, and it's 4-0 Cincinnati. It's Holiday, Moss, and Molina.
Sorry. My kids used to always ask me, is there somebody underneath that face?
No,
Fredbird. I said, no. That's a Fredbird.
That's right. Magically appeared a few years ago. Still going strong. Holiday, Moss, and Molina for the Cardinals here in the bottom of the sixth. First pitch is taken for a strike. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Matt Holliday. I know for years when you were patrolling center field, you would try to get the wave going, and
oh yeah,
that's what we got going now. That's one of the reasons, many, why you're in the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
Probably one of the only reasons.
I
would
main
be out
reason,
there
maybe.
given the hands like the middle linebacker, trying to get the fans rallied up. Just waving that towel in the dugout.
2-2, and Phillips with the catch. Holiday lines out, brings in Moss, who is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to first and grounded to second. Nice play by Phillips. Thing you'll notice when you watch the Cincinnati Reds, just how deep Billy Hamilton plays in center field. He plays an extremely deep center. With Moss up, all three of the outfielders playing deep, especially in right and in center. And a fly ball lifted out to right. That'll stay in the ballpark. Catch is made on the track. Scott Schebler. That's why you play deep.
I was going to say that's why they play deep. You don't have to go anywhere.
Brings in Yachty. 2 outs, nobody on. He is walked and also grounded out to short.
I think if I could have had Hamilton's speed for, I don't know, a couple days, I'd have played right behind the umpire in center field.
You probably would have.
Tried, especially in the old stadium.
Played that shallow center and
be out there right at midfield. Still see the lines from the soccer field.
hit down the right field line, and it's slicing foul and out of play.
Stand out there right about the upper part of the circle and see how many people I can make mad. That's the one good thing about baseball is such a tough sport. You can make a really good pitch. Saw Brandon Phillips hit a ball off his shins earlier for a base hit on a good changeup. Hit a line drive right at the second baseman. Nothing you can do about it. But out there on defense, I felt like that was the only time I could really have some fun. Really, like, just get after it. I knew exactly what was happening. I could see everything that was going to happen before it happened. And just go get the ball and really frustrate some of the guys. And
it's about knowing your staff. It's anticipation, how a guy is throwing that night, who's at the plate, all those things going into the jumps that you would get.
A lot of fun conversations around the batting cage the next day.
I bet. 3-2 pitch to Molina. And he struck him out. 4 strikeouts for Cody Reed. We played 6. Game 1 of this 3-game set. Reds on top. And Molina once again piling up the innings behind home plate. Cardinals really like what they've seen in the development of Carson Kelly, who's on his way. They've tried to find a backup to relieve Molina of some of that load behind the plate. All the innings that he's caught. It was a swing and a miss by Hamilton. You know, Brian Pena signed a 2-year deal, $5 million. They threw some money there in that spot to see if it would work out. Obviously it is not, and it's night after night. Yadier Molina. 0-2 on Hamilton.
I always thought that was the toughest position in baseball because secretly, really not a lot of the pitchers want to throw to the backup catcher, with all due respect. And Yadi's your guy. You want him out there every day. You can't groom a minor league player to be a backup catcher.
Right.
It's just, can you get a guy just good enough not to play very often? See a nice pitch right there. But that's where the veterans that maybe at the end of their career can kind of hang on a couple of years, and a lot of that knowledge can keep them around, earn the trust. Got a guy on the bench that is respected, and like I said, a lot of knowledge, and it's a good guy to have around, but it's so hard to find because obviously the catching position is someone is not going to be around forever because of the way the wear and tear is.
1 ball, 1 strike on Zach Cozart.
Tell you what, Gary Bennett did an amazing job when he was here for his short term, but
he knew the role though.
And he was
accepted it.
And he was a leader, even though he wasn't here very long. He just kind of thrusted himself. He had grown up in that hardcore Philadelphia area, and that baseball, you know, stuff that they dealt with, and the fans, and just the respect of the game with all the older players. And in that era of baseball, you were taught to respect the game and the people, and you know, he brought that.
Mike Lieberthal, I think about leader of the Phillies and their catcher for so many years. Good player.
Darren Dalton before him.
Yep. 3-1 pitch to Cozart. Base hit into center. You can follow Cardinals baseball live with the MLB.com @bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day Live. All the video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. There's Joey Votto. RBI triple back in the 2nd inning. He's lined out and flied out. Bowman gets ground balls. He'd love a double play here. Do you ever choke up much?
A little bit. I don't. A little bit, just enough to get off the end of the bat. Not this drastic.
Barry Bonds used to do that. Hunter Pence does it now, along with Joey Votto. Matter of comfort.
I would think that you'd take a little bit longer bat, maybe a little bit heavier, and then you would get the benefit of the wood being a little bit more solid. So I swung a heavy bat once in a while, and when you hit the ball, it really went. So I could see, you know, Barry always had really good wood, obviously. And
there's your ground ball, slowly hit. Bowman's only play to get Votto at first. Cozart advancing to second with 2 down. I've talked to a number of players that say when they get to mid-August and September, they will sacrifice the weight of the bat and the length just to get a lighter bat because they're so run down and tired.
I think the problem with that for me was once I started doing that, it became mental, and then I never really wanted to go back to the heavy bat again. And I think that kind of hurts you, because as much as the lighter bat helps you, it creates this, maybe this false feeling that you can go ahead and just swing harder.
Right.
And have more bat speed, when really that's not what you want to do, is be reckless with your swing. And sometimes I'd have to go back to a heavier bat just to kind of keep me under control and kind of give you that little mental picture where I just really just use your hands and hit the barrel. And good things will happen.
Adam Duvall at the plate. 2 outs, runner at second, and the 1-0 is inside. It's a good example there, Bowman against righties, and how that ball just runs in on the right-handed hitters and away from the lefties.
Good sinking action, tailing action, sinking action. Wasn't happy with that pitch, but that's enough to get somebody's attention on the right-hand side.
There it is again.
The good hitters will take that. The bad hitters will think they need to get out in front of it.
So a walk to Adam Duvall. It looked like he'd rather deal with Brandon Phillips with first base open there. Phillips has walked, doubled and scored, and flied to left. Reds have received 5 walks here tonight. 0-1. Michael Wacha with 5 innings. Bowman trying to finish his second scoreless inning. Cardinals will have Peralta, Jerko, and Pham. Then Bowman's spot coming up. Runners at first and second. High chopper. Jerko, tough play, bare hands. Oh, what a play by Jed Jerko. Very nicely done. Time to stretch here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. A dandy from Jed Jerko. It's 4-0. Jumbo Diaz in our Chevy call to the pen. Now, one thing you could think about if you're having a rooting interest to the Cardinals is that this has been a really bad bullpen in the first half of the season. Historically bad. The Cincinnati Reds, they lead the league in relief losses. However, things have been sustained a little bit, quieted here the second half, and it's improved by leaps and bounds. We'll see if that trend continues here tonight. Here's Peralta, who has doubled off the wall and also singled to left. And the first pitch is taken for a strike. The Cardinals with just 4 hits here tonight. They have stranded 5. The Reds about hit St. Louis 7-4, and they lead 4-0. Peralta breaks his bat and pulls it foul. I get fans that ask me all the time, well, how many bats do the players have? How many do they travel with? So at home, it's got to be a little different than what you have on the road.
Yeah, I mean, at home you have an unlimited supply. Obviously, you stay ahead of it. You order a couple dozen. And when you get down to a dozen, they order you another dozen. And depends on who you are, though. Some guys break a lot of bats. I probably broke 5 all year. I didn't hit a lot of balls hard enough to break. And then when you go on the road, you take, you know, for me, I would take a batting practice bat and then my 2 game bats. And then maybe if it was a 2-city road trip, I would probably take an extra 3 bats. There's, you know, I just knew how many bats that I would go through in a season. A lot of guys swing the same bat. You get into a bind. Plus, the big leagues is so ridiculous. I mean, those guys down in the locker room, Walshy and Ernie and Rip for all those years. I mean, They are on top of it. You know,
Oh, yeah.
they see you break. For me, if they saw me break two bats in one game, they would come up to me and go, "Hey, are you all right? Do you have enough?" You know, they know everyone's tendencies, what everyone does, how they carry their bags, what's in it, what's not in it. They'll come up to you sometimes and say, "Hey, did you purposely not pack any sleeves on this trip?" You know, I mean, it's insane.
Fly ball into right, drops in for a hit for Jed Jerko. Jerko made the play that ended the top of the 7th. It won't show up in the scorebook as some dazzling play, but man, it was a good one. It was not easy, kind of in between hops, and then had to barehand it and threw a bullet to first.
I was impressed that we didn't get a good look out of it there. That's a good shot of the play, but if you rewound a couple steps back, you can actually see him set himself up for the barehanded play. A couple steps before that, he kind of veered out of the way to let the ball get to his throwing side of his body. You can see him change his angle. He's coming straight in, and then he realized, oh, bare hand, so I got to move over a little bit, knowing that the ball's going to spin to the left anyways to get it right over to where he just needs to catch it and throw it. And those are the little things that you see that are so impressive. And it's one of the things that I learned from watching Jose Oquendo all those years. And it's not just about charging the baseball and then changing directions and throwing. He actually teaches these guys to get around the ball. So when you're coming to pick up the ball, you're actually not only coming towards the ball, you're moving towards first base at the same time. And when you have time to do that, you put yourself in a better position. And that's exactly what he just did right there.
It's always interesting to see how the game changes in the flow of a game. And the Cardinals, as we mentioned earlier, with basically an all left-handed hitting bench. And that could be big late stages of this game. Matt Adams has moved to the on-deck circle. And remember, the Reds have one lefty in their pen. That's it, Tony Cingrani.
And he's not up right now.
He's been closing games out.
Yeah. So you're going to get your guys in there when you get a chance.
Yeah, you're going to see some matchups that probably favor the Cardinals in terms of righty-lefty. 0-1 pitch. Good fastball at 97 from Jumbo Diaz. Plaza Tire Service catches the corner. And it's 0-2 on Tommy Pham.
He caught some attention too. Loud as that glove was.
Popped it.
That's a big discrepancy right there. 97 to 83. I mean, you see how quickly that ball gets to the catcher at 97 miles an hour, and you can hear it even up here. And then he throws a little curveball, which, you know, normal curveball probably be in the upper 80s.
You talk to a catcher, they say if you hear that pop, that's not necessarily a good thing. That's a lack of movement. That ball gets away all the way to the backstop. So advancing Jerko to second.
I've actually heard also that pitchers will complain when a catcher doesn't catch the ball cleanly.
With that pop.
You can see right here, speaking of catching the ball cleanly, the pitchers want to hear that pop. Yeah, but you're right. When the guy's got movement and not consistent, especially, not going to hear a whole lot of pop.
Cardinals need to get something going. They're running out of outs. The 2-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. Outside again. Right fielder Schebler very deep for a right-handed batter.
He's almost on the highway.
The 3-2 pitch. On its way. As a base runner, then you've got to know that. You take a look at your outfielders, you think, all right, base hit to right. He's playing so deep. I've got to be able to score.
Yeah, for sure. You got to get a good jump. It also has something to do with your read, as if you get a bloop single, that you need to know that a normal bloop single right now is basically going to be a single. I mean, he's got to really hit a decent line drive for you to have to even freeze when outfielders are playing that deep.
3-2 pitch inside to Pham. Runners at first and second, and here comes Big City. 1-0 Matt Adams has done a terrific job in this role. Now, the pinch hitters of the Cardinals have been ridiculously good. Adams himself is 10 for 24 with 2 home runs and 9 RBIs. He picked up an RBI double over the weekend. It's our Chevy call to the pen, and it's Blake Wood, the right-hander. And it's 4-0 Cincinnati. Between innings, this is Blake Wood who's on the mound. This will be his 49th appearance. And for those that follow baseball on a daily basis, they know all about Blake Wood. As the security officers are here,
they're looking for you.
I think no, I think the governor is here tonight.
The governor is here.
Governor Jay Nixon usually stops by in the booth to say hello.
I had another parking issue today. I was told to slide over a little bit because the governor was here.
All right.
And I said I can't slide over because Mr. Shannon is next to me.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Here's Governor Jay Nixon. I guess you probably figured out he's the guy in the suit. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Ooh, big cut by Adams.
Pretty nasty cutter at 93 miles an hour with some down action.
Blake Wood gets the corner. Good pitch by Blake. And it's 1-2. If you're Adams, you're thinking, I can't get to that pitch.
Not with that natural cut that starts off the plate and ends up off the plate. I mean, that's tough to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. He goes there again. That's what you'll see from a major league pitcher more times than not. And Blake has good control. They get that call, they go right back to it.
Nope. And a little bit more outside, and that not just the pitcher, the catcher. Catcher knows where he's at. Catcher's going to slide out there a little bit more and try to buy it.
One-two pitch. Two-two. Oh. Doesn't get the call. If you're wondering, Blake, no relation to Travis Wood. Travis Wood, who pitches for the Cubs. He was playing the outfield the other day for Joe Matt. Blake, reliable reliever in the pen for Cincinnati. Here's a 3-2 pitch to Big City. Ground ball, double play ball. 4-6-3. The threat is through. Nice work by Blake. 4-0. Reds on top. Duke under contract next season as well. Numbers combined with the White Sox and St. Louis, 56 appearances. A guy that Jimmy, the Cardinals feel that can not only pitch night after night, but face lefties, face righties. And time and again, you'll see him out there. So we are in the 8th inning of a 4-0 game. Reds on top. Here's Scott Schebler showing bunt and pushes it foul against the shift.
Trying to take advantage of no one being at third base. I think sometimes you just got to do it. You got to take advantage of the situation. You never know. Drop down the bunt, something going in your direction. Just a bad pitch to bunt, but definitely worth the try.
See some players more and more, they hit or even pitch with the mouth guard. They bite down. This young man takes a big cut. 0-2 pitch. Check swing. Did not go. 1-2. David Price actually pitches with a mouth guard.
It's a big thing on a lot of different sports. I think that there was always this belief that if your jaw is in line, you were going to be a little bit stronger.
Bite down hard. 2-2.
Steph Curry comes to mind, but it seems to be that he doesn't ever have his mouth guard in.
Come to think of it, I think you're right. 2-2. Two pitch. Fastball misses. So in the bullpen for the Cardinals, Segrist, Broxton, Manus, and Jerome Williams. 2 scoreless innings from Matt Bowman. Schebler lifts a fly ball out to left, coming on and making the catch, Holiday. Take a look at our Budweiser What's on Tap. It's game 2 of the series tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 6:30. Finnegan against Leake in the Budweiser What's on Tap. Eugenio Suarez singled and scored. Picked up an RBI in the 3rd. Grounded out to 3rd. First man that Matt Bowman saw back in inning number 6. Average now at 239. He's got some pop with 17 home runs. That's something that Duke will do here and there. He'll drop down sidearm or just below 3/4. The 1-1 pitch. Base hit into center. 2-hit night for Suarez. Home or road, one of the best ways to take advantage of buying or selling your seats. StubHub. And you can do that with their StubHub app. Here's Tucker Barnhart. Singled and scored on a base hit to left back in the 2nd inning. He is walked and then hit a soft liner to 3rd. Cardinals have turned 1 double play tonight. That was back in inning number 4. So as Scott Warman was updating the San Francisco game with Miami, combined 24 hits in a game that was started by Jose Fernandez and Johnny Cueto. You would think a pitcher's duel, but it's 7-7. A strike at the knees. Fernandez 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 earned. Bullpen came in and Giants got it rolling. Outfield is shallow and here's the 0-2 on its way. Struck him out. First strikeout for Zach Duke.
He's done a nice job of keeping hitters off balance, getting that angle, creating his own angle, throwing a sneaky little sinker down and then coming back with a breaking ball, good breaking ball down. Talked about it earlier when you said hitter can't hit that. Puts so much doubt in your mind, and then you start cheating out there, and then you end up chasing something else because you're so worried about protecting that pitch. You're kind of leaning already, and you're already kind of exposed to what you think can happen, and instead of just staying back and just letting it go.
This may give you an idea of what Brian Price thinks of his bullpen. It's a 4-0 lead. And he's got a couple of guys he feels he can rely on, and this is one of them. So he's going to let Wood hit for himself. Here's a 1-0 instead of check on the runner at first, who might have been a half step off the bag. It's amazing what players will do to stay in the league. There's a look at Blake's resume. 6'5", 240 pounds from Georgia. Zach Duke, a longtime starter, now has reinvented himself as a reliever. Different arm angles. Velocity is a tick or two better. Two 2-0 on Blake.
See that ball right there when he drops down just enough. It creates this running action or cutting action. It's thrown across the zone. Every little bit of angle helps.
In his career, Blake is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts, looking for his first major league hit. These relievers, these appearances at the plate, few and far between. The 2-2. Full count, so the runner off with his pitch from first base.
Tell you what, he's battling right now because he might not get another at bat for a while, and this is his big chance.
And he struck him out. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Strikeout of Blake Wood. 4-0 midway through 8. Authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Young man wearing the giveaway from the other day, the fedora hat. No. Tommy just shot that fedora. That was not the giveaway. That's the giveaway. No. It is a nice looking hat, though. Here is Matt Carpenter, looks at a ball, and we're underway here in inning number 8, the bottom half. The Cardinals against Cody Reed and Blake Wood have a combined just 5 hits. Trying to get something going. The rally caps are out. Pulled foul right past Billy Miller. 1 ball, 1 strike. Again, we have our Winter Classic announcement tomorrow at 10:30. You can see that on Fox Sports Midwest or on Fox Sports Go. Download it now and take it wherever you go. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Carpenter. Third baseman Suarez was even with the bag well off the line until there was a strike on Carpenter. Then he moved back about 3 or 4 steps. 3 infielders on the right side. Outfield, especially in right. Schebler very deep. And Carpenter cranks one out to deep right field. Schebler is back, spun around, and it's off the wall. And Matt Carpenter picks up the double. And Schebler, he was spun every which way except where the baseball was.
And just not deep enough. Whoop. Yeah, he got caught. And he almost made the play. Like he just got caught worrying about being so deep and spun him around. It's not a good feeling, my friend. Not a good feeling at all.
Now Piscotty doubled inside the bag at third. That was in the first. He is grounded out to third and struck out. Fastball at 98 from Blake Wood. 375. Runners in scoring position this season for Piscotty. Runner at second. Carpenter with a leadoff double. Oh, 0-2. When things aren't going well as a hitter, it seems like it's always 0-2, and recently that's been the case with Piscotty.
It definitely does. I think two things happen. You get a little bit more tentative, and then also scouting report. They know that you're not swinging the bat well, and they'll come right after you. Even if you're the best hitter on the team, they're going to come after you right away.
Ground ball that's hit to short. Carpenter stays put in second. Brings in Holiday with one down. Mentioned earlier in our telecast, Matt and his wife Leslie, the co-chairs of the Albert Pujols Celebrity Golf Tournament today. You were a part of that. Many former Cardinals were back out there as well. Jason Isringhausen. I know Izzy had a great time having a chance to converse with the fans, as he always does.
Izzy was the group in front of me. I think you had a nice time at the old golf course.
Always does. And a fastball is taken low. We're seeing Wood hit 98 on the gun. Get a look at the velocity of this next fastball. 102 Holiday. 97.
You know, usually Izzy is out and having fun, and he was really quiet today. I think he was trying to win. He was concentrating.
Well, he's still competitive.
He is competitive, I'm telling you. I played golf with him a couple times.
Little bit low.
I got a text a little while ago so that we were one shot off the lead, and it's because I had to leave early. That's why we were so good, because once I left they turned it off a little bit.
2-2. He's got a little run with that cutter, I guess he's throwing.
He's got a natural cutter in the low 90s and then a fastball in the upper 90s. You can see the cutter there.
Crowd trying to make some noise. We'll do it again.
I feel like the cutter is the new split finger in the last like 5, 6, 7 years, maybe a little bit more, but it's really hard to see the difference between the cutter and the four-seam fastball because it literally is thrown exactly the same. And by the time you recognize the pitch, it's already moving and it's too late. I think that's why Mariano Rivera was so successful for so long. Is sometimes it broke a lot, sometimes it didn't break that much, and it makes it really tough to decide where you want to put the barrel at.
With pinpoint control too. Look at that, 98 from Wood.
Like I said, you get one fastball, 4 cutters, and then you get that 98-mile-an-hour fastball right there. And this ball is actually running in on Matt a little bit and up in the zone. I mean, that's just not, talk about not being fun to be a hitter. Facing guys like this it's not fun. Doesn't matter what side of the plate you're on, but it's especially tough on the righties.
So here is Moss, 0 for 3 tonight. Flied out back in the 6th. 2 outs, runner at second base. 4-0 Cincinnati. Shift is on for Brandon.
There's that cutter.
Sometimes with that cutter against a left-handed batter, you'll see it get in just enough where they fight it off. You see those soft liners that are hit to the left. He may have got him on his knee.
On the back leg. That's it right there, though. I was talking about, you're going after that fastball and that ball starts to cut in. You pull your hands in. You can't keep up with it. You can see right here, he swings over the top of it just enough.
Oof.
Yeah, that's like just getting hit with a bat in your back knee for no reason.
Two outs, runner at second. And the 0-1. And I bring that up because with a shift on and a cutter that gets in on a lefty, you fight it off and you just get those little flares out to left.
Well, in this case, as a left fielder, you would probably move in a little bit, knowing that if he does throw a good cutter, all you're going to get is a jam shot. You're not going to get the line drive over your head. But the other problem with that is if he throws a good hard fastball away and he just throws the barrel at it, you're kind of in no man's land being a left fielder against a guy like this.
So that swing there by Moss, he's clearly not obviously at 100%, but he's nursing that sore back leg. And you think about the base of a hitter, and right now he's struggling just to swing the bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and 2 the count on Brandon Moss. Struck him out. Well, an outstanding job out of the pen. Blake Wood throwing smoke. And the Cardinals strand another runner. We head to the 9th, and it's 4-0 Reds. Couple that with your starter not going deep. It's not a good combination, and right now the Cardinals in a rut. It's our Chevy called to the pen, and here is Seth Maness. And he has got things back on track. He's really pitched well here recently.
Well, obviously that is nice to see because he is one of the go-to guys that has been around for a while. So get him back in track is nice. Another guy out of the bullpen you can count on when you need him. Just need to get those zeros off the bottom of the scoreboard.
1 ball, 1 strike on Billy Hamilton. A couple of stolen bases in this game, a single and a walk. He is struck out and popped out. 1 and 2 the count. Cardinals have Molina, Peralta, and Jerko coming up as Hamilton sends a fly ball into left center. Tommy Pham calling off Holiday to make the catch. It's disappointing that, Michael Wacha gave you 5 innings here tonight. I say disappointing because he had come in 6-1 with a 1.97 ERA in his career against the Reds. That's 12 games. Pham drifting back to make this catch off the bat of Cozart. Quickly 2 outs. Only Cole Hamels among active pitchers had a career ERA better against the Reds. And Randy Johnson the all-time best at 1.57. So 2 outs. Nobody on, and here is Joey Votto. Fly to right, RBI triple. Lined out to right and grounded back to the pitcher. Oh, 1 pitch. Doesn't get the call. Two and 1.
This is that time of the game when some of the fans empty out and you can hear that one obnoxious fan.
Oh yeah.
Yelling at the visiting team.
Catch made by Holiday. And we head to the bottom of the 9th. A 9-pitch top of the 9th for Seth Maness. Cardinals down 4-0. Final hope coming up. Nothing too fancy from Cingrani. You're going to get a lot of fastballs from this lefty. It's our Chevy called to the pen. And the Reds trying to complete a shutout of the Cardinals here in game number 1. His 50th appearance. He's allowed only 4 home runs and nearly 50 innings of work. Remember, they tried Cingrani as a starter, but needed work to develop those secondary pitches. So now you see him in the bullpen. Yadier Molina leads it off for the Cardinals in the final hope here in the bottom of the 9th. Molina, Peralta, Jed Jerko combined here tonight. 3 different pitchers prior to Cingrani. The Cardinals have only 6 hits as Cody Reed is trying to pick up his first win. He's 3 for 10 against this lefty. The hitter's perspective, you gear up for that fastball from Tony Cingrani.
Pretty sure the shot clock has gone off by now, hasn't it?
It has. So here we go. Bottom of the 9th, 4-0 Reds in the first pitch to Molina. Fastball taken high. Well, you give the Reds credit. They've made pitches when they've had to with the Cardinals. Multiple opportunities with runners in scoring position here tonight. Cardinals have stranded 7 on the night. And they are 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Late with that swing, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You can see the life on that fastball. You see a fastball out over the plate. Trying to just get a base hit, not do anything too much, and the ball just jumps out of Cingrani's hands.
Fouled back. Drives it into right field and a leadoff base hit. Yadier Molina. We've seen that about 1,000 times, haven't we? Lefty on the mound, good fastball, and he just serves it into right.
Sorry, such a great job of hitting too. Like I said, the first ball kind of snuck by him, and then you can see the next swing he dialed it up a notch, and then wasn't enough, and so dialed it up a notch again here, and really aggressive swing. Knows he's going to get the ball out over the plate. Just tries to stay within himself, but you got to speed it up when a guy's throwing 96. Such a good job hitting right there.
Here's Peralta, 2-hit night, single and a double to go along with a ground out. Fastball taken high. Peralta was a few feet away from picking up home run number 200 of his career. Hit the ball off the wall and left. And the 1-0 pitch. Popped up near the line, playable, and the catch is made by Schebler. Almost overran that ball, and back to first goes Molina. Our Budweiser player of the game, Cody Reed, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, walked 1, struck out 4 in 100 pitches. Another bright spot tonight for the Cardinals, Seth Maness. He's not allowed a run in his last 10 appearances. 13 1/3 innings, those 10 appearances. Here's Jed Jerko. Fouled back, strike 1. Base hit by Molina, by the way, was hit number 100 of his season. 9th straight year for Yadier Molina and 100 or more hits. Oh, 2. You would think that this would be a pretty good matchup for Jerko. Crushes a fastball and very good against left-handed pitching coming into this season.
You can see these guys. I mean, Jed's ready to go fastball and knows he's going to get a fastball. Might have gotten away with taking a borderline strike right there. Pretty good pitch by Cingrani.
2-2. On the air tomorrow at 6:30 with the pregame show. Postgame show is coming up. The award-winning postgame show with Scott Warman and Rick Horton. 2-2 pitch. Taken high. Tommy Pham on deck. So from 0-2 to a full count. Fly ball lifted into right. Schebler again. Two outs. Those two are having a conversation. That's where you'd like to be a fly on the wall and hear Votto and Molina, two great players, what they're talking about.
Probably a whole lot of nothing.
Think so?
Yeah, you know what? It's really interesting what's said out there. Sometimes it's how's the family. Sometimes it's as simple as that guy's nasty.
Votto now with 2 outs playing behind the runner. Ooh. He's even got the hands up with the helmet. Fielder's indifference for Yadier Molina. No stolen base. 2-0 pitch.
Maybe Yadi was telling him to scoot over so he could run. He had the hands up, Jazz hands rally helmet. There he goes. Good balancing.
3-0. Here's Colton Wong.
That guy was clearly cheating with the rally helmet. He had something stuffed in the bottom to keep it on his head. Nope.
And now he's getting a little hungry.
A little food in the hats. Don't eat too much. It won't stay up there.
Oh. Wong hit by the pitch, and now the tying run will come to the plate. And things have just gotten interesting here at the ballpark.
Once again, guy come in with a not a safe situation, struggles for a smooth inning. Oof, that is not a good place to get hit.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's Carpenter. Doubled off the wall back in the 8th. Carpenter lines it into right field, sinking, drops. 2 runs will score. It's now a 4-2 Cincinnati lead. Schebler playing so deep. Drops in for a hit, and the Cardinals have something going now. The pinch run for Carpenter. That'll be Hazelbaker. And here is Piscotty, one of the best with runners in scoring position this year.
Playing that deep is one of the things I hate so much about no doubles. Is no doubles doesn't mean don't try and catch the ball. No doubles just means keep it from going over your head.
They are 1 for 12 tonight. Piscotty would add another base hit here. He'd love to do that. Make it 2 for 13. See what would happen then. The tying runs are on. The potential winning run is at the plate. 8 hits aside, and now a 4-2 Cincinnati lead. Check on Hazelbaker, back in safely. First pitch to him. Piscotty out to left. It's now 4-3. The tying run in scoring position. Winning run at first. Holiday comes to the plate. Again, playing deep in the outfield.
Super deep. A lot of fastballs. Guys are going up there being really aggressive. Really good at bats. Said it a lot. Doesn't matter how hard you throw. It's where you throw it and what you have to go with it. Still think it's pretty crazy how you bring a guy in a non-save situation.
You have great speed in Hazelbaker. Piscotty runs fairly well. He's at first, and there is a huge gap in left center. Base hit would tie it. The 1-0 pitch to Holiday. 2-0. Moss is on deck. 4 for 8 in his career against Cingrani. And he's in a hitter's count here. 2 balls and no strikes.
Thinking maybe a little walk-off here.
3-0. Turn him loose. 3-0 pitch. He walked him. Bases loaded. A base hit could win it.
This is interesting here.
That's it for Cingrani. Bases are loaded. Ross Ohlendorf will face Brandon Moss with the game on the line. Who would have thought this would happen? 4-3 Cincinnati. We'll be back in a moment. Birthday, which is today. Moments ago, there was no chance this would happen. Well, here he is. Bases loaded. A 1-run lead for Cincinnati. Moss at the plate. Base hit could win it for the Cardinals. Wild pitch, pass ball could tie it. They're on their feet here at the ballpark. Strike 1. And again, it's a situation in which Moss, who has 8 career walk-off hits, is dealing with the shift. The 0-1 pitch to Moss. On its way.
It's a good job there by Brandon. Take strike one, borderline pitch, middle in. Don't get excited. Just settle down, relax, still look for your pitch to hit. Good job by not getting overly anxious because he's 0-1 and try to do too much.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Brandon Moss. Now they're playing deep to respect the power of Moss, but because of that, you know, one of the things you have to think about is a base hit.
Wins the game.
Wins the game. Very deep. 1-2 the count on Moss. The 1-2 inside. 2-2. It's Tony Cingrani. The 2-2 pitch to Moss. Hit out of play.
Really trying to go after Brandon Moss on the inside part of the plate here. Normally you don't see that late in the games, but obviously their scouting report is jam him inside, and I guess it doesn't matter if he gets a single or a homer. Normally in the situation you wouldn't want to give up a homer, but here I guess it doesn't matter.
Are you surprised they are as deep as they're playing here for Brandon Moss?
I mean, I don't think this outfield changes much. I guess I'm going to say not surprised because they haven't moved all night.
Game on the line.
But yeah.
Base hit. Could win it. The 2-2 pitch to Brandon Moss. Bases loaded. Here she comes. 3-2.
The other thing about pitching in too is you got to be careful you don't hit him. So you're not really sold on getting that ball down and in. If you yank it, you hit him. Tie game.
The 3-2 pitch to Moss. He walked him, and this game is tied. The Cardinals with 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th, and they've tied it up. It's 4-4. Unbelievable.
Really, really good at bat by Brandon Moss right there. I mean, under control, not trying to do too much. Knows a single just gets him back in this game. A walk just as good. Great at bat.
The chance of Yachty here at the ballpark. First pitch to Molina. That's taken high. Can you believe this? Left for dead. Nothing happening offensively. And now they have tied this game up here in the bottom of the 9th. The 1-0. Molina is hit by the pitch, and the Cardinals win it in the oddest of ways. It's a remarkable comeback for the Cardinals. Slide in, Yachty, and walk it off. Sometimes you say you can't believe it. This one, you really can't believe it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Cardinals win it 5-4 as Molina is hit by the pitch to win it for St. Louis. Down by 4 runs heading into the bottom of the 9th. The Cardinals come back and win it with 5 in the bottom of the 9th. What a win for St. Louis.
Tell you what, that was impressive. That's why it's so hard to be a closer in the big leagues. Even with a 4-run lead, you get the best of the opposite team. And they had some tough at-bats in the 9th.
Let's send it downstairs to Jim Hayes.
Cardinals down 4-0 at the bottom of the 9th. They win it. Yadier Molina gets hit. What about this comeback? How badly did you guys need this?
Yeah, we really need it. I mean, this is a team effort. We really need it. I mean, come back like that with a great pitcher like Cingrani is. I mean, it's amazing. Great win.
In the dugout, you're down 4-0. What was being said in there?
I mean, we never give up. I mean, we believe in ourselves, and we did it. I mean, we've been in this situation before, and we trust each other. I mean, so it's a great game to come back and win it.
You're facing a pitcher, obviously, that had trouble finding the strike zone. What were you looking to accomplish in that at-bat?
You know, I was looking to my approach, something middle way. Obviously, he was trying to get ahead with the curveball, but he didn't. But, I mean, after that, I mean, I was looking all fastball, and then it hit me. I mean, I take it. We guys.
Big comeback, almost lost in this. How good was the bullpen?
The bullpen was good. I mean, I thought Waka did a good job, too. I mean, a couple pitches up, but I mean overall, I mean pitch 5 innings, and the bullpen complete the game. I mean it was a good game overall.
Congratulations, thanks Yadi. All right guys, Yadier Molina.
An incredible win for the St. Louis Cardinals. Left for dead, they pick up 5 in the bottom of the 9th, and they win it with a game-winning hit by pitch. Ohlendorf walked in. The tying run, he hits Molina, who slides into first, and it's a walk-off win for St. Louis. 5-4 the final. Post game comes your way next.